Hi, my name is Nicole Hind and I'm an online counsellor for women, and I'm going to be just talking briefly today about this book Shrill by Lindy West, and something really specific in this book that I think all of us girls can use to embrace who we are. I'm standing up so you can see what my body looks like, what I look like, and if you know anything about Lindy West you might know why that would be important. And that's because she is, I don't know if you'd exactly say this, but she's a fat activist. She's a woman who and this book is very much about her journey of coming to terms with being a fat girl in society that doesn't make a lot of room for that, doesn't celebrate. It's a bunch of other things too. But yeah, I'm going to concentrate on this one thing. So she talks about in this book about how the first time she ever saw fat women in beautiful poses and photography, and she was just kind of blown away because she'd never seen that before. And it kind of opened up this idea that maybe she wasn't a failed, hideous person, and maybe there was beauty in who she was. And instead of putting all this energy into trying not to be who she was, maybe she could use all that energy and put it into embracing who she was. So she jumped online and she talks about, I think, at least one Tumblr account where she's following every single day, exposing herself to fat women and telling herself, regardless of whether she fully was able to believe it at the time, that they were beautiful. And I just really love this idea. It's really struck me as a counsellor and also as my own self. What if I just kind of do the same thing? So I just fill up my Instagram, for instance, with lots of different types of curvy women. So I started looking up curvy women. One of the first people that appeared was Ashley Graham, who is bombshell supermodel, who also has her own clothing line. And it's just she also puts pictures of herself where you can actually see, rippling skin, and she's a lot of her models are obviously all curvy women, so it's kind of like an opening point. And you can also jump into some of the clothing lines, Society Plus, Slink Jeans, Lane Bryant, where you're going to see clothes as well as women, and also give you an idea even of clothes that you might not have even thought about wearing. That doesn't mean you're going to have to buy these clothes. I mean, I haven't bought any of them, but it did inspire me to jump out to my op shop and, go, I can find some clothes that fit me. That was really a positive experience. Then I discovered things like F Your Beauty Standards, which is my favourite, because it's not just, that in that way that like body positivity is simply a euphemism for fat. It's also all different types of women with different types of non-normative bodies and ways of being in the world. So, for instance, there's, women with disabilities, women with just different types of bodies and tattoos and whatever's going on. But generally, ordinary women telling a little bit of their story. So you start to feel also like connected to these other people, all the comments that people are making, really supportive and reassuring. And then, of course, you might even find other models and women doing stuff. There's even people like My Name is Jessamine, who is a yoga instructor, is all about strength and definitely not being of, the cliche or normal body type. And then there's things where there's, ordinary women like love curvy women. And I think that those ones are really important, as well as obviously the modelling ones, because they're the ones that actually can trigger things for you. I know myself, sometimes I'm, seeing these women in my feed, and there'll be times when I'm judging them, where I'm like, oh, I don't like that, or, whatever. And that's really important to connect with. Don't think that judgment just doesn't exist. We nearly all feel judgment. It's about noticing it and talking to it and questioning why it's there. And that's actually a good thing to do, be like, gee, why am I, hung up on this? Or why do I think that's unattractive? Or why do I? And does this person have a body like mine and I'm here thinking this? What does that say about how I feel about myself? So it's really important to sit with that a little bit, it's a bit uncomfortable. And then just kind of move on, and just keep doing that every day. I got a little bit more, creative and started looking up things like just before I cut my hair. And so I started looking up fat girl short hair. And, sure enough, there's actually a Tumblr account called that, where women are showing off their, short haircuts and talking about loving their short hair, and also a little bit about what it was like to cut off long hair, or, who had an opinion about that. So then again, there's a conversation. You know, you're kind of part of, you can feel a bit more part of a community, a little bit more part of something where people are also, it's not just a massive celebration, it's also people are putting up their conflicts, you know, they're like things that they're not really sure of. On another level with even, you know, polycystic ovary syndrome is this whole thing of, you know, facial hair, and if any of you girls have it, you'll know. So actually, I'm not totally there with this, but I'm definitely going to that same place of exposing, looking, and self-talking about beauty. And so there is, you know, for instance, I just found a comic that's called Queer 10 Straight Zero, about this queer woman's journey of, like, you know, the whole beard, facial hair thing. And so there's a whole story there, you know, there's a real person behind that who, you know, you can relate to. And then, of course, there's a Tumblr that's called Femme Facial Hair, and there's heaps of women on there of different, lots of women of colour, lots of women of just totally different sizes, different backgrounds, a lot of women with polycystic ovary syndrome who are talking about how they feel about their facial hair, whether they're just on board with it, whether they're not, and, you know, and they're tentatively sometimes even posting pictures of themselves, as well as right next to that where people who've done photography exhibitions and all sorts of celebrations. Anyway, if any of this is appealing to you, or even if it's not, I still recommend giving it a go. It's definitely having an impact on me personally, and I can definitely see how questioning what you've just absorbed from society, and even really forcing yourself to sort of dislodge that, is really, really powerful for making changes in your own life that you want to, and they might not be the changes that you thought they were when you started out on the journey. All the links are in the post, so hopefully, you know, you can find some stuff that links you to something else that fits in with you and your body and your needs. Finally, I'm an online counsellor. Please get in touch with me if you're needing support, or if anything about this post has interested you or appealed to you, and just reach out. You know, if you even if you just want to ask me a question, that's totally fine. I'd love to hear from you. www.unveiledstories is my website, and yeah, hopefully I'll hear from you soon, and hopefully this has been a little bit helpful. Take care. Bye bye.